This is kind of like a follow-on video from this morning regarding the Denton and Gorton by-election, and it just kind of, the election result is predictable. I mean, I predicted it myself. I've done a couple of videos on it now, just saying I think the Green Party will win. There was a large enough Muslim population in that area to win on it in its own right, because the other groups are separated by philosophy and philosophical arguments and political opinions, whereas the Muslim vote is a block vote. It's very consistent, and any party that harnesses it is going to win. So even though they make up roughly about 30% of the population in that borough, some of the areas that make up the borough are a much higher percentage. So if they come out en masse, and they will do, and they did do, they'll secure a victory for whatever party they're backing. And it's not like the Muslim community is interested in green issues. They couldn't give a flying fuck about it. It's just a useful avatar for them to gain political power and influence. And this is like pretense now, just that we don't have essentially racial politics. It's got to be over now, unless you're completely fucking retarded. So what's going to happen in future? See, if the white vote had coalesced there, and don't get me wrong, I think a lot of them just looked at Reform and just said, you're the same old. You're just exactly the same as the Tory party. They managed to garner enough people to think they're the only option. But a lot of people are looking, going, what's the fucking point? You're not going to do anything. You're just all talk. And the fact that they've basically just been importing loads of ex-Tories, and some of the Tory imports, I'd say, are quite decent people, but there's a lot of them that aren't. And they're going to influence the direction of travel of Reform. And I think a lot of people are that disillusioned now. They're looking at it and going, nah, I'm not even going to bother voting for them. And no disrespect to Matt Goodwin. Academic Agent came out with something I thought was quite funny. He said he's like Alan Partridge. And yeah, he comes across like an Alan Partridge figure. So what's going to happen in the future? I think Restore Britain will increase its vote share, and I think it will become increasingly sectarian. I think, unfortunately, the British people are a bit slower on the uptake, whereas the racial minorities have been doing it for hundreds of years in their own countries, or ever since they've been voting anyway. But tell me what you think.